All right. We are live to discuss Critical Role Campaign 4, Episode 4. D&D Addict, hello. Welcome in. What's up, Lil Bun Bun? Thank you guys for jumping in, even though you're in the Discord. Tell me what you think about Critical Role Campaign 4, Episode 4, as we get into it and discuss it. Let's see. Aki says, crazy episode, yes. Well, that was a wild ride. It had some bumps and yeah, freaking roller coaster. I can't say that after it was said and done that I didn't see where it was going, but they made it a ride to get there. Agreed. So I saved to watch at 3 a.m. Oh yeah. Okay. Only made it to the break East Coast life. Yeah, I feel that. So I because I have Beacon. I watch it Ingrid at a faster speed, and then I stay up. For me it was like around 2 a.m. I think I finished it, but I also played it at 1.25 and 1.5 speed. So Blackest Night, thank you, dude. I'm glad you love the content. The episode gave me some traumas and I will need therapy. In fact, my trauma will need therapy for the trauma after last night. Show is crazy. It was. Ingrid, I don't want to spoil things for you unless you don't mind, because we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. This is the reactions in the post show. So hopefully you are okay with that. There were some bad rolls, except for Julian during the fight. He rolled quite well. I mean, he definitely gave like the I know how to fight moment. Dice are cursed. To cleanse the whole set. I really enjoyed how Brennan detailed the character death. It was like I was there when he was split. Yeah. So to go back to the part where somebody said, kind of knew where it was going, but they made it a ride to get there. I said, if you guys remember in the pre-show, I was like, I don't think anybody's dying in the overture. So when that happened, I was like, ain't no way. Especially because it wasn't in a way where character choices really led to that, right? It's not like they made a bunch of mistakes that got them there. Brennan was like, oh, you're in this spot that I kind of made you in, like, kind of go to. Oh, by the way, level 11 casters are going to be there and they're going to absolutely murk you, right? Like, he was either getting kidnapped or he was getting killed, right? Like, that's it. So there was really no doubt in my mind this wasn't going to be the end. Now, in the cooldown, they said that, like, there was a chance that it could have been the end, but I don't think so. So Taliesin was as secretive as it can be because his character news. It is. I did a whole, I did a TikTok about that and whatever, and I just released a video, guys. So make sure you watch it after this. That is basically a look behind the mask. It is the thing of just talking about Taliesin and stuff like that. So just pop in and say, hi, hey, Brooke, what's up? So this is the post show. This isn't the pre-show. We've already talked, we did all that yesterday. This is the post show where we react. We talk about what just happened. But yeah, welcome in. You should be able to see all the different people chatting on like YouTube and stuff right there. Bolaire is probably the biggest surprise. I agree. Bolaire's thing is super cool and unique. I thoroughly enjoy Bolaire's whole gimmick. Very, very cool. They also said in the cooldown that it wasn't necessarily going to happen in the overture. Yeah, so again, he was like, I knew what he wanted to be. And then Alex was like, I didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew Brennan said that like we could make it happen. And then Brennan was like, well, here's a chance, boom. But at the same time, he goes, oh, well, I figured this was a chance. It's like, brother, you put him in a situation where, like, he was probably gonna die. Like, you put him in a spot where, like, that was gonna happen. And then to pretend like it was like, oh, it was just happenstance that, like, I got an opportunity. No, you made that opportunity, right? So that's how I feel about it. And it's okay. It's the overture. But I hope this kind of thing doesn't continue into the actual show, right? I want it to stop now. These sorts of things I want to kind of cease, and now we really get into like, dude, if you die, you die. Dude, I'm not going to feed you these stories. I'm not going to, whatever. Like, I want it to change. I think so. You said there was a very little chance he was walking out alive. I think there was. Oh, you mean Not like him coming back. You mean like initially? Like initially, he was very little. Yeah, exactly. Like it was almost zero. Like I'll give them a 1% chance that he was going to walk out of there. They were gunning for him. He was the target. So it's like, no, I don't really for a second think that was it. Early today, haven't even got off work. I can tell it's because I'm doing my post show for this. Then I want to get out another YouTube video. I just published one, and then I have D&D at 9:30. Was roller coaster when his soul unraveled. Occtis is my favorite. I wonder what his and truly. You haven't left for work. Does she normally go at 3? Out of the way, you probably playing it, so Occtis would be done with his character creation process. Exactly. So and I think that's okay. It's the same way that we got Wick, right? The whole reason all that stuff happened with Wick really fast and kind of set who he was, and we got all these big answers fast because of that. The same reason we got the big reveals. Tyranny's straight up a demon, and she has a contract, and they work like we got a lot of really big stuff very soon, but it's because this is the overture. This is a backstory. I just don't want it to continue forward. Because if you've set up and you've kind of advertised as like, this is a dangerous game and, resurrection isn't really a plausible thing. And then like, you're already bringing people back. That needs to be kept. Like, cool, overture, I've kind of just let everything slide. I've been like, yeah, that felt a little forced. Yeah, that felt a little forced. That wasn't supposed to happen. Fine. And the overture, I just hope it doesn't continue past that. Keeping it a bean, I play D&D 3 nights a week. So. Second for Santi, the makeup was fantastic. I loved the eye for Abria too. That was super well done, except for apparently she couldn't see out of it. Do you DM? I DM my Wednesday game. It used to be Wednesday, Thursday, but now that I'm doing the pre-show, I can't do the Thursday thing. So now we always have to do Wednesday, which means somebody misses every fourth session. Yeah, everybody looked great as a goth, actually. That's because goths are hot. So, I mean, hey, that's just the way it is. Goths are hot. If you guys haven't already liked the live, wherever you're at, like the live. It'll help push me out to more people. Share it or whatever if you're on TikTok and all that sort of stuff. But if you were on the YouTube one, please give it a like, engage with it. It'll help push out to more people and we'll grow this thing. You play online or IRL? Both. So tonight I play online. I run my game in person, right? My game that I Dungeon Master is in person. I play in No Hard Feelings on Twitch. He runs the game tonight. So I play in person Wednesdays, online Friday nights, and then in person Saturday nights. I play in a game. So I play in IRL twice and online once. There was a point where I was running 2 online games. And then it became 1 online, 1 in person, and playing in 2 games. I was in 4, and it was too much, especially when you're running 2. This is like Colville in the Chain of Atron, on which 2 of the starting characters are always meant to die, and the real characters were the alt ones, but for the narrative, it was important. Oh, that's actually cool. I wouldn't have hated that either. IDM 2024. Dungeons & Dragons 2024. I think Brendan Men's warning commercial last week was him setting the precedent. Hopefully, again, he did that. And then he gave this speech about like, Aramon isn't fair. People can die. But then he kind of had like a planned death. So like he gave this big speech about it almost to sell it to the audience. It wasn't about the table. It was more so to tell us like, oh, Occtis, oh, he's really dead. But like he wasn't, right? I'm iffy on like that whole thing where they're trying to sell us something, but they know that's not reality. I'm not, The other cover session 0 of Daggerheart after doing a pretty fun one-shot starting a 5 Baroness. Ooh, very nice Baronessa. There's some other stuff. I'm trying to pick this madness part. Sounds good, D&D Addict. Homebrew or published book? A homebrew. I've never actually done like a module. It is my own world Vasilia. I didn't fully understand. Can someone explain, with the soldiers table multiple weeks before turning the others back? That's how I understood it. From what he said in the cooldown last week, he said, we're going to do this next week. We also said in that cooldown that next week we're going to like figure out who the other 2 tables are. And we didn't. He didn't make that reveal. But he said, we're going to figure out the other 2 tables. And then we return to the soldiers for a long-term adventure. So the way I interpret it is that when we come back after taking next week off, unfortunately, we will be the soldiers table and they will go for like 4 to 6 weeks is my guess, where we just follow them on an adventure for 4 to 6 weeks. And that's it. And then we'll go back to one, the other groups and all that sort of stuff. Plan for Occtis to be they say it, Shifter, in the cooldown. They said he was going to be a hallowed one or whatever. A reborn hallowed one, whatever you want to call it. They just didn't know when it was going to happen, apparently. Like, they said they didn't like plan when it was going to happen, but it was like, no, that was planned last night for that to happen. I think it one episode per table a month, and each week a different cliffhanger. So you think it's going to be soldiers when we come back from the break, and then the next week will be a different table, and then the next week will be a different table, and then we return to soldiers. I'm running a one-shot this week on my birthday, Curse of Strahd. Hey, well, first, happy early birthday. And I have the Curse of Strahd book, but I've never run it. I pulled the crypt from it for a little fun thing. Is this such one shot going to be Daggerheart or D&D? I do not know. I do not know. That is a very good question. I don't know. Is it listed on their site what it's going to be? Because I don't have the answer for that one. My interest in the secret table just went way up. Yes, but we don't know what that is yet because they didn't say which table was which. And he said when they come back, when they finally come back, it's going to be all 8 of them still. So they didn't split like they said they were going to. Not yet, at least. Last week, I was less certain Julian would be with as a Secret Group. After this, I feel confident he's with him. Yeah. You look like he would do a werewolf game. Really? I don't remember if I played the werewolf TTRPG or the vampire. I think I played the vampire TTRPG many moons ago at World's Best Comics. Comics and Games, I think it is. I played something like that once. I love werewolf, as in, like, not a TTRPG, but like the game of werewolf, where, like, everybody closes your eyes or goes to sleep, and then, like, the werewolf kills somebody and all that. I love that. Love it. Kind of want to dress goth for Halloween now. Do it. Why not? Played a few Curse of Strahd games, never ran any. Yeah, I haven't done. Let's see. D&D General. Oh, no, I didn't see that. They said they are shutting down Sigil. Oh, I should have done a video on that. Oh, well, I'll have to wait. Yeah, yeah, D&D Beyond is shutting down. We have made the difficult decision to end development on Sigil. This was not a decision made lightly, and it followed months of reflection with all teams involved. We're deeply grateful to everyone who explored Sigil with us and shared in this journey. Your passionate feedback meant the world. We couldn't sustain the level of ongoing developments for the Sigil or our community deserved. That's on us. What we learned from Sigil and from your feedback will guide how we approach future digital tools. And then they say, like, how they'll handle it for people who did stuff with it and stuff like that. So, you'll be able to use it through the end of October 2026. Okay, so you got another year of it. Replacement rewards. If you pre-ordered 2024 to digital and physical core rulebook bundle on the D&D and receive that, you'll receive a new digital dice set as a replacement reward, a new character sheet backdrop. Okay, wow. Well, fun fact. Sigil was a virtual tabletop. It was a 3D virtual tabletop. Sorry, a little sidetrack. I know that has nothing to do with this. Bro, have you seen the dark gifts from the compatible book for Curse of Strahd Ravenloft? I have not. I understood they would be running soldiers 2 or 3 weeks. That's, again, a short campaign or short adventure is what I interpreted. But he said long-term adventure. But, what is long-term, right? Horror campaign or one shot. Steal from those books. Sounds good, dude. What's the just? Oh, I just answered. Yeah, what's up, Octazor? Imagining Final Seekers will be the ones who have to leave Dalmakiar, Julian, Valus, Noctis need to leave and facing the world with Aisha's thing. Yeah. So I think again that's the group that I thought was going to do it regardless. But now we kind of have that same idea that they're, they need to leave sort of thing. And they're going to be seeking something. Perhaps now that, there was the afterlife, right? They saw all this stuff kind of beyond the veil. They saw the orcs, or Occtis did. And Occtis hasn't shared that, right? Isn't that it ended with Aranessa basically saying, like, what did you see? Isn't that basically how it ended? And then he didn't respond and tell him yet about how he saw like this orc standing in front of the army of the dead and all that sort of stuff, which somebody was like, what if that's the Aussie? What if he's in that sort of like death realm and he's like leading against the undead or something, you know? Could be interesting. Could be interesting. He didn't share yet. Yeah. Welcome in, Justin. So that is kind of wild. He got all that information. He'll get to share that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm glad the Overture is over. And I know some people are like, oh no, I wish we could have all 13 people just constantly rotating out. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. It felt, again, I enjoyed it, but it felt too much like a soap opera that was a little too planned for me in terms of a D&D game. Just a hair. And so I'm looking forward to when that kind of breaks off and the story is more surprising. Matt is so good as a player. I love it. He did a great job. When he finally got to do his no, like 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Loved that. I think seeing the afterlife was necessary for the story. Exactly. That's what I'm saying is there are a lot of parts in the Overture that are very much where Brendan was like, I have to do this for the storyline. I have to get this done. I have to get that done. This beat has to get hit. We're pushing it. We're pushing it. We're pushing it. We had a lot of big moments in 4 episodes, like a lot, because it was like, we got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Yeah. Revolution against the undead by the newly dead. There you go. It's been his plan all along. I really enjoyed how this campaign has started. Ready for different tables to begin. Yes. Same. I've enjoyed it, but I am ready for it to let's move on. Let's get to the next part. I'm hoping the rest of the game feels less planned than the Overture. Agreed. 100% agreed. I understand running like a big arc and a story and all that sort of stuff. It's what I do. Like I have a plan in mind, right? And I put them in these directions and things like that. But this felt very planned and structured, to where it was noticeable. Like you almost knew things that were going to happen before they happened. And so I'm looking forward to when we get away from that and there's a little bit more risk, right? There's a little bit more like they're going to make decisions and it's truly going to be decisions that will take them here or there and yada, yada, yada. Matt killed it in this episode, 100%. The first couple of sessions on rails, so it is easier to keep focus. And then, yeah, and to let people know where these characters came from. Would you have understood the impact and the brutality and the massiveness of Wikander finding out about his grandfather and the Halavar house? Would you have really connected to that as well if you hadn't seen it happen? No, right? You wouldn't have gotten it. And therefore, I like that they did that. But it was also like, yeah, they knew this was going to happen. Like, this is, you know, but we need that because now we're connected to that. Now we understand what a big thing this was for him to be like blinded to it for his entire life and then just be like, wait, what the heck just happened? Same thing with if we get a pivot for Julian. He witnessed his father's death. We now know that his household was destroyed by the Daconis family, right? We needed that. Occtis becoming what his character is supposed to be, a hallowed one. We want to see that happen. He wasn't supposed to start as it because how would he just be hanging out in town, right? So these things needed to happen. But I'm looking forward to getting past it. Good energy today. Hey, thanks, Meta. Welcome in. Overture was a lot like something that happens in Backstory Session 0. Now, yes, we got to live through their Session 0s. That's basically the backstories they wrote. They handed it to Brendan. He said, all right, let's turn this into a show. And that's what we did. I was disappointed they didn't break up the tables completely, and I'm very disappointed they won't be back this week. I agree, Paul. Especially because in last week's cooldown, they said, next week, we'll figure out the next 2. And then we got there, and they were like, actually, when we come back to this group after the soldiers, it's going to be all 8 of you still. And I'm like, excuse me? I've listened to and watched a lot of Brennan's games. I think he'll let up on the rails a lot going forward. He loves proofs of mixing. Yeah, again, I think it was just the Overture. But I am, like, last night just made it even more so for me because I read it. And maybe not everybody did. Maybe people actually thought Occtis was dead. I didn't for a second. Not 1 second I think Occtis is dead. No. No, he's not. He's not killing somebody in the overture. And even if he did, it would not be in a situation where he basically forced it. He railroaded you into a spot where he goes, haha, level 11 shows up, kills you, make a new character. Like, that's just not gonna happen. That would be so bad. So it was just like, no. So I'm looking forward to when we can't just predict exactly what's about to happen. Julie not liking everyone being cool with Occtis was so good. Not only does he have a point with Tacona's magic, everyone is talking about his miracles. There's a miracle for his family. Have you ever seen the D&D movies Mythica? I've seen the D&D movie, like the old one. I've seen at least 1 or 2 of the old ones. I think there were 3. And then I saw the new one. In the cooldown, Brendan said Occtis dying and coming back was part of his backstory, and they decided to let it play out in the overture, but things could have gone different depending on... Yeah, but when they say that, I think one, it's their job to make it not seem as structured, which is why they bring those things up, right? I'm not taking away from them, but if you think that they don't go, hey, make sure we don't present things as being scripted, they do. And so I think that when they say that, they say it as in like, oh yeah, I threw like a 1% chance that he would actually end up dead after that. Like he wouldn't be able to come back. But it was a 99% chance he was, right? So that allows them to say there was a chance it could have worked out differently, but like, was it going to? No. No, I don't for a second think that it was going to actually end up with Occtis being dead. But that's just me. And it's just speculation, it's just a theory. I'm not at their table, I'm not there. So... toss me out the window if you want, you know? It was still enjoyable. Matt is so good at conveying emotion, sampling into a canner, being absolutely in shock at his family, an accurate depiction. Yeah, it was so good. Campaign 4 makes me want to DM a West Marches campaign. Not me, dude. That's too much. That's too much work. Can we talk about how Bolaire is the coolest thing ever? I talked about that twice today. I released the short form thing, and then I also put out a video talking about how cool it was. Which, yeah, I've already said this a couple times, but if you guys, after this live, definitely go check out. I put out a video about Bolaire and his insane reveal. So 100% go check it out after this. Give it a like, let it play all the way through. Helps with the algorithm. Thank you. And leave a comment. I like the skepticism of Occtis' resurrection. Oh, yeah, that was good, too. That was really, really good. Where everybody else was like, oh, this is sick. Like, Occtis is back. And Julian was, like, soared out. Like, well, hold up. Hold up. What do you mean he's back? Why aren't we questioning this? Why isn't the family that just slaughtered everybody and has, like, death magic? Why are we not questioning that the guy in the family just came back? I agree. I like that. I think that was well done by Matt. Yo, what's up, Dane? Aha says, oh yeah, Occtis was always going to come back, but then the wind was up in the air. Sure. And welcome in, Aha. Also, later Inessa, yeah, I thought she was going to do something faster, but then she, like, you know, didn't do a whole lot until later, but that haste allowed Julian to be an absolute menace, and I loved it. I loved it. The Bolaire reveal was crazy. It was so good. So, did anybody predict it? I didn't. When he, so, because it was sold to us as if, like, then you wake up and you see the body. When, in actuality, that didn't happen because he is the mask, so he didn't wake up or get put to sleep, right? But, when it happened, I was like, oh, the mask killed the guy, and now he's up and he's looking at the body of the guy who died, right? The mask killed the guy. And then later on we find out, no. Your body that was your body is the one on the ground. The mask clamped onto this guy, and now you control that guy. That was like, excuse me? Wait a second, huh? And then he's like chopping up the body, and I'm just like, he's chopping up his old body. Like, that's his body. He's chopping it up. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. There's some souls about Taliesin thinking about those swords that are left behind. Yeah, that was, you know, he's like, oh, what about all the sentient swords, man? I really thought the lady would be dead, but she ended up kicking. But yeah, well, because at the start of the fight, you were like, oh, I thought you were gonna like be the hero who saves the day, and you're not doing so hot. And then she finally got kind of freed from them. And then it was like, okay, she's getting into high gear. She's competing. She's helping. And I was like, okay, now we're good. I see it as skepticism with a touch jealousy. Just the videos of Megadeth. Yeah, American. That's it. Josh on TikTok says living Eastern time zone blows being a critter. I hear you. I'm also Eastern. I live in Virginia, and it's just luck. I mean, this is my job, so I'm like, I gotta stay up, and I watch it at a faster speed. I take notes while I'm watching it. Like I watch it on Beacon, so I always play it at a higher. I don't play it at regular speed. And then I do that. But yeah, I'm still even with that, and the episodes have gotten longer. This one was 4 hours and 57 minutes. Now, mind you, that's including like the break or not the break, the ads or whatever, right? So with the break, it's even longer. Let me catch up. Her casting haste on Julian helped turn the tide in the fight because Julian, yeah, 100% Justin. He was the only one who, I say it in a video I put out to like a short form where I said, Julian's the only one who seemed like he knew how to fight. Right? We had the whole fight in the bar. Everybody sucked. Everybody sucked until Valus jumped in and started whacking people a little bit. And then we get to this one, and again, rolls aren't going so great, even for Valus, and Julian's just like stab, stab, kill, stab, stab, kill, stab, stab, kill. And I'm like, all right, at least Julian knows how to fight, right? At least we have that. What's Valus? Tanking against the shadows was key too. Yeah. Which... Even like everybody kept asking, Brenda kept asking her, are you still up? How are you looking? How's your HP? And she just kept saying, I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, I wonder how much HP she actually has, first of all, which I think is on the sheet. I didn't look at it. I know she was taking half damage because apparently she has resistance to necrotic or something. So maybe that's why they were getting caught off. They're like, wait, I'm hitting you for like 12. How are you not down? But it's like, oh, I'm taking 6, and I'm taking 6, and then I'm taking 6. But yeah, they almost seem skeptical about like, hey, are you up? Like, are you still alive? Bolaire mentioned whenever they weren't worn, they were asleep. Okay, so maybe that's part of that aspect. That makes sense. Eldritch unknowable being Taliesin, making Eldritch a knowable player character. Yeah, he made it. I love that Ernesto was used to help him in the group with haste rather than just casting big spells to take it. I like that too. I like that too. He technically was asleep as the mask, as we were talking about. Okay, so yeah, like what they just said. I have a lot of questions like, how many bodies has this guy been through? Yeah, exactly. And we know that it's happened while he's been in town because when he was describing how he looked, when they had the role about his movement, where Hal was like watching his movement to see how he acts or how he's acting and stuff. And he said, oh yeah, I have a little more pep in my step. I seem like a little drunk in terms of my movement. And he goes, and you see my skin looks, the little bits that you can see looks healthier. And he goes, but you've seen this happen a couple times throughout or over the whatever. So it's like, he's changed bodies before. I completely agree. I thought the mask had vampiric impact and resuscitated version body. Yeah, I think at the very beginning, everybody thought that. Rolled a nat 20 for one of Murray's porn dice, came in huge at the right time. Yep. Need to cleanse stable something because, yeah, there were, I mean, outside of Julian, there was a lot of bad dice rolls. I'm not a big fan of the Druidic metal control, even with the backstory. I don't mind it too much because it was created with the dungeon master and the player both talking it through, figuring it out, saying this fits with who you are, this fits with the world and the lore, and if that's the case, then they'll figure it out and they'll make it work. Going forward, I hope they post up the porn dice with their character sheet at the beginning. I would like that as well, so you kind of know, like, ooh, is she going to use it, is she not going to use it, that sort of thing. She also didn't get hit by the Circle of Death. Okay, yeah, 31 HP, but she was getting tagged quite a bit. And even if you're taking half, like, you know, she was taking 6 a pop, yada, yada, yada. So you can only take but so many. Again, I wasn't logging her HP. I'm not, you know, it's just, I just know that Brennan kept asking, right? He kept being like, hey, what's going on here? You know, how much HP you got left? So just something I noticed, thought about. All right, just want to do that again, guys. If you haven't already, like the video, click the little thumbs up under the live and things like that. Any sort of engagement, type in chat, stuff like that. Let's see if we can get out to more people. I'm trying to continue to do these. The pre-show did very, very well. We peaked at like 150 something, and total at the end of it, we had 930 people came through in that hour and 45 minutes, which is really cool. But I've been seeing like Todd Kenrick did a video like this today, and in his, he peaked at like over 300. So I would love to get to that point where we have just so many people who are loving this and getting in on it. So share it with friends, give it a like, engage with it. That'd be very helpful. I wasn't prepared for the shade that got thrown over Thiazi. It was unexpected, but it didn't make him a Robin Hood knockoff. So ultimately, I liked it. Yeah, but we don't know if it was true or not, which is another thing I want to talk about. We don't know if it's factual or if Bolaire lied, because we had Bolaire rolling at 20, and we had Hal rolling at 1 for insight. So basically, and Brennan said, yeah, you're going to believe whatever Bolaire tells you. And so Bolaire told him stuff. We don't know if that's true or not. We don't know if he really was being blackmailed and used because he knew his secret and stuff like that. We don't know. Also, I have merch, Nerdcore. Here's one of them. I'm going to put my logo on a shirt too. I just haven't done it yet, but I think I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that on a shirt. Just fun fact. I just threw it because I saw that I was wearing a Nerdcore shirt. Depending on her subclass as such, she might have had resistance to necrotic, maybe allowed her to take. Yeah, it's either that or connected to her god, because like she is deeply connected to a god, right? Like she was there for the Shapers' War. She's one of, now we know 2 people who were there for it, right? Just her and Bolaire, because the rest are like they're too young. Yeah, we don't know how much of what he said is exactly. I trust Bolaire's narrative, or yeah, I don't know. Like I'm open to that being the truth. And showing like a darker side, a crueler side of Thiazi. I'm definitely open to it. But I feel like in previous episodes, they made it seem like Bolaire was like, yeah, sometimes me and Thiazi get along and I do some work for him and yada, yada, yada. And sometimes we didn't. And now it's that. But it also now makes it make a little more sense that when he got executed, Bolaire was laughing. So there's also that. So we don't really know when it comes to that. But if anybody has questions about the episode, topics about the episode they want to discuss, please throw them in the chat. Let's do this. Let's theorize. Let's have moments that were exciting. I'm also thinking, guys, what do we feel about? So right now it's just the topic that says Critical Role campaign for episode 4. I'm thinking about in the future planning these a little bit to have set topics. So like we'll be like Bolaire's reveal, and we'll talk about that, and then I'll hit a button, and it'll change to Occtis's death. And then we'll talk about that, like that sort of thing, to have its like structure and make it feel more like a show. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I still die. I hate to confirm my bias. Did he have to jump Alex's character? Yes, because him and Alex had already talked. That's part of Alex's backstory. He wanted to play a Hallowed one. They reveal it in the cooldown, Charles. So this might, you know, if you didn't see it, this was where he goes, I'm going to kill him. Just because I feel like it. It was when Alex went to Brennan, he said, I want to play a Hallowed 1 Necromancer. And Brennan was like, okay, cool. I can make you become one. I don't know when or how. Or I'm not going to tell you when or how. And that's how he got him there. Because he was like, you can't start as one. That's not going to fit. But you will, if that's what you want to play, we will get you there. And that's how it happened, is he died, did that, and this whole thing kind of brought him back as a dead person. Yeah. Do you think elves were always rare in Armand? Are we wiped out more from Sign of the Gods? I'm curious about that too. I'm curious about that as well, because they're all like, oh, this is like a legendary elf, you know, whatever. And it's like, what's the big deal? But it seems like it's a really big deal. So I'm thinking, again, I don't know which one. Same theories. Have they always been rare? Or is it just they were siding with the gods because she was a protector of the temple for a god? And so that's why that happened. It's a solid, I don't know which option I would go with. For a live chat, being spontaneous is better. Yeah, it allows us to circle back when people bring up the same points. I agree with that. I feel like it would be more like official if I did the other way, but yeah, all good. What are people's thoughts on Julian's father's gauntlet? Magical, perhaps. Also, how Brennan gave Julian permanent so on the gauntlet thing, I he called it his demi gauntlet. I have it in my notes when he talked about his gauntlet, not the one that he ended up getting from his dad or whatever, which I'm assuming he might call the same thing. Hold on. Pretty sure he called it like a demi gauntlet or something. Yeah, demi gauntlet. So he was like, I used my demi gauntlet or whatever, and then he took the one off of his dad. I wonder if there's some sort of perk. I wonder, yeah, I'm also curious about that. The permanent perk, we're seeing a lot of those sorts of things going around, right? We have him getting this perk against Taconis for advantage if he has less than half HP. We have the everlasting Bardic Inspiration for Thimble. Like, Brennan is being very just like, here's a special long-term thing, here's a special long-term thing. Yeah. Actually, then you knew it was going to happen at some point, just not the when and how, exactly. I just think the fact that the Ozzy used Bolaire's love for Hal in his stories makes him manipulate Bolaire is so interesting, because even Hal says his brother could be an a-hole sometimes. Yeah. I think to do what he did, you probably have to be a little bit. Rare on that continent, possible, but we don't know much else about like the rest of the world and if there are other continents and things like that. Thought it was a pair with his own, like a family heirloom kind of thing. Yeah. I will say that I can't watch cooldowns. I had to cancel Beacon membership, so I'm missing part of the info there. That's why yeah, exactly, and that's why I explained. I just said that happened, and they explained the kind of the why, Charles. So I definitely get where you're coming from, but that they explained the sort of the why there. That was a choice that he needed to make. When to make that sort of thing happen, allow him to play the character that he wanted to play. Elves are mythical beings that are more myth than legend. Rio, the rare sights, yeah, but when you watch Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, you get these feelings like, oh, they're so beautiful, but you don't get the feeling they're so rare. We're getting more of the like, they're super rare and powerful. In terms of a visual, like when you're watching the Lord of the Rings movies, they're presented as like, oh, they're beautiful and they have power and magic, but not like they're super rare. And we're getting the super rare aspect here. But I get your point, Aki. Demi Gauntlet, yeah. I think the odds was desperate. I assume we find out why later. Oh yeah, we're gonna figure some stuff out. And again, I'm very, very curious if they. If that orc warlord, the orc that seemed to be like leading against the undead or whatever that we saw there, the orc soldier, if that's the Aussie, and the undead place. I'm also it's curious that they're using the flanking to give advantage. Maybe the pressure of the Taconis family attack in the realm of the dead was the reason the dead were trying to move into the realm of the fairy. That's a theory. At least level 15. I wonder if you're in his status. Wait, at least level 15? I thought people said he was at least level 11. What gave him away as at least 15? I wonder connected to fairy the elves are. Solid question. What's up, Edwin? I would like to know what Murray and Bolaire did to bring Occtis back with Necro and not divine magic. Yeah, I think it's more so that the artifact itself has some sort of like divine, not necro energy to it. Like it was more of the Black Stone, the Night Song, than it was them. I feel like in a way. Oh, plane shift. That's what it is. Because I knew before that people were like, okay, he's at least level 11 when he did like Circle of the Dead or whatever it was. But it was the plane shift that said that. Yeah. I believe Thimble mentioned that there was a connection earlier on. The flashes Occtis saw when he was in the in-between man. I hope he tells Taisha and Hal because their son is at the burial ground. Yeah. So the stone brought him back. That's my understanding, is the stone played a large role in kind of what allowed him to come back. It might have been what like brought him back, but it allowed them to do something that brought him back. Flanking makes sense as most rules seem to be against removal of those rules. Yeah. And again, it's a very simple way that they've done it. Instead of like, oh, you get a +2 to your roll, they're like, you have advantage. Sorry, I'm looking at my notifications. I like flanking. So we do flanking in my in the Saturday game, not the game that I run, but in the Saturday game that I play in, there is flanking. But we just do the +2. It's not like advantage. You just get a +2 to your roll like they did in like 3-5. Yeah, Stone assisted his return. He said a drop of blood came out of the night song and that revived him. I think it's a nice flavoring that Murray has put on her magic. Signs of physics fitting with magical results. Yeah. There was something she said, though, that I thought, like, wait, I don't think that's correct with physics, but I can't remember what it was. And I could be wrong about it. I'm not an expert. But, like, she said it, I was like, wait, is that right about physics? I think she said time isn't something, it's physics, it's whatever. But I think that's kind of, like, up for debate as whether or not time is, like, a reality, but it's actually something. Yeah, whatever. Not important. But it is a very interesting way that she's decided to be like, she learned it and it's all like science, like magic and all that is like just science and understanding of physics and not like this other. It's different. It's definitely different. Thimble mentioned there was a connection between Fairy and the L as one of the earlier episodes. I think I'm not certain, but I feel like it happened. Well, then we know. Where's IRL? If you were fighting too, oh, I agree with you, Charles. I agree with you. Again, I liked it back in the day. It, you know, they didn't do it in this edition, right? They didn't do it in 5e. I think it is in the book as an optional rule. I could be mistaken on that, but I thought it was there just as like if you want to use it. So improves battle dynamics. Yeah, I mean, it makes it way more likely if you and another person are next to somebody, you are going to beat the crap out of them. As long as they use it back. Do we think if it'll be? No. Santi, that was kind of a letdown because they said the overture is going to happen and they split into the tables. Like, that's where we're going after the overture. And then in the cooldown last week, they said, okay, soldiers are off next week and we'll figure out our next 2 tables. And then they didn't. We ended it with those 8 people being together without knowing who's splitting. I have my predictions. I've talked about it a lot, but we didn't get official confirmation of who those tables will be. And we won't for a while because when we come back, they're taking next week off for a one-shot. And when we come back, it's the soldiers table. Time is soup. I think that's what she said. She's go. Well, there was something else. There was something very specific. I'm not talking about like the she said something specific about time not being something, but being like real science and physics. It's not important, but she said something, and there's just part of me that was like, I think that's not the case. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we have flanking in our bi-weekly D&D game. Yeah, like I said, we have it in the Saturday game with a +2, and then they run in that game with advantage. Advantage is very, very good, and so yeah, especially generating glass cleavers is pretty cool. Oh yeah, right. There are certain elements, and that's why it can cause some friction with like the main D&D audience who are like, they know the game as the rules is written, right, or at least close to it, and then you have all these different ways that they're playing that they reflavor everything. And they extend some spells out to be more than they are. And they change a lot. And they allow for a lot of things that are just cool for them that are different. And that does cause friction with certain parts of the audience who are like, how do you do that? You can't do that. Like, yeah, that sort of thing. Pretty obvious. It's a shame they didn't make it clear. It's still nice to see what the soldier table is up to. Oh yeah. I agree. I think the fight went on a lot longer than Brendan originally expected. It might take up. It would have been reasonable to assume they might flee and are surviving as a result. Yeah, so I also agree that maybe he didn't realize that it was going to take so much time. And it was approaching like 5 hours, and he was like, "We're not going to be able to get to this. We have to just call it here and see. You know, we'll have to do this next part in the different episode because this isn't going to work." With the glass aesthetic, that's completely possible. 100%. It would fit with like his whole weapon thing too. So, which now makes sense in his image everybody was like, "Oh, what is his rapier? Like his rapier looks kind of different." Um, and people thought something else, but I guess it's glass, perhaps. I could see it. They're probably going to split the table. They ran out of time. Yeah, that's I 100% agree with that. I think they probably ran out of time when it came to that, which is, when you're running 8 players at a table, that's bound to happen when it comes to that. So, not surprised, but a little disappointing. Tal said his glass rapier. Yeah. Just Jerry said, I'm wondering if someone would have knocked the candle out of the hand or cut the hand off. I mean, a targeted attack, I don't know how Brennan would handle that, right? Because they kind of removed called shots in 5e, right? You used to be able to do something like that. In your subclass with the Pact of the Blade? Maybe. I've never played a Warlock, so I'm not super up to date on that. I don't know if how easy that would have been, Jerry. Right? Like saying, oh, I'm targeting his hand is like, okay, cool. That's going to be harder to hit. Cool, you hit it. Now you need to do a certain amount of damage to actually make him drop it, right? Like depending on how Brennan decided to do it, it probably would have been very difficult. But had it happened, that probably would have elongated the fight or just made it so Home Dude just killed one of them. Because again, we're thinking he's somewhere between 11th and 15th level. So that could have gone exceptionally poorly. Yeah. Path of the Blade straight up lets you make packed weapons out of thin air as a bonus action. This is what Shifter says. I am really, really disappointed that we got through the overture, and the first thing that happens is we take a break. Like, I was, like, the thing I was looking forward to is to finally get past the overture, and we do it, and I was like, and we're not playing next week, we're gonna do a one-shot. Disappointment. What up, Mother Nerd? Yes, yeah, she did her land ability, and Murray is a divination, so we did get some information when it comes to that, which is cool. Let me delete that. We did learn some good stuff. 2 weeks until the soldiers. Yeah. Well, 1 week, right? Next week they're playing Dispatch one shot, and then the soldiers are after that, or are they taking a week off? Dispatch is pretty cool. Yeah, but I'm not that interested in one shots. Like I don't know. We'll see. And I know it's like a superhero sort of thing and all that, and it's cool, but like I want to just keep doing the thing, Wonder where the body of Julian's father went. What are the thoughts on him being back as an undercut church or something? I mean, his body was just left there, right? Or you mean when the other people showed up and there were no bodies there? Yeah, I wonder who cleared it. November 6th they come back. Wait, there's 2 weeks? Next Thursday's the 30th. And then, yeah, so it's just the one, right? Next Thursday, they do the one shot, and then they're back the week after that with the soldiers. I think the one shot speaks to what you have been saying about this is more of a friends having a D&D business than just getting together to play D&D and roll dice. Yeah, I mean, 100%. 100%. Like, yeah. If you want my honest opinion, this campaign is because they want to play less. Like, I think that's why they created a 13 player where tables are gonna like change and all that. I think they want to play less. It's just speculation. It's just my thought, but that's my take. I don't think they want to play as much as they have for the last 10 years. Where did the bodies go? They have taken them for use later, plus the wedding episode. Yeah, That is, yeah. I don't know if it's important or if they just cleared it out to hide. Like maybe they're gonna pretend like it wasn't what happened and that like they just disappeared. We don't know where they're at, or they're doing something with the bodies. But they did do it pretty quickly. After 10 years basically playing weekly, taking it slowly makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so part of me thinks either they've just outgrown it and they're like, guys, I don't want to keep playing this anymore, so how do we keep making this our livelihood in a business while also continuing, you know, like, but getting a break. So I think that was part of it. And I think the other part is they're like, I want to recapture it. I want to start enjoying it all again, which means I need to separate some. I need less time doing it. And I think this could help, which is why I said, I think if campaign 5, when we get there, it goes back to the original cast with Matt as a DM, I think there will be a massive resurgence because people will be so excited to have that back. Yeah. Have to go now. Great. Hey, peace out, Aki. Thanks for hanging out. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can come back and see some more. The 2 anime series and acting production plus other voice acting work, they're busy. It's probably worse. That's what I'm saying is I think they are prioritizing other things because they're tired of this to some degree. I think they're tired of it to some degree. And they've slowly been working in that direction. It hasn't been live in years. And they 100% are not recording 1 episode a week. So they were already getting some breaks that allow them to do things, right? If you think they're batching some, they're going, all right, cool. We're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. We're going to record the next 3 weeks. And then they just do that. And then for the next 3 weeks, they don't have to do anything. And then they come back to record the next 3, so on and so forth. Or it's even faster than that. They go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to record. The next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to record. The next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And now they've only passed 3 weeks. They had 9 episodes for. Right? And they get to just go. And now they get to do that even less because they're going to be swapping. I think we're going to watch 2 years of a campaign that they recorded in like 6 months or something. That's my take. Equivalent exchange. The price of them playing less is Brendan playing more. True. That's very true, Ryan. It makes sense that they would have more time between games, freeing up their schedules for other responsibilities or pastimes. I also think people like are overestimating. They're putting out 4-hour episodes. It's not like they're giving up their lives for that, right? They play D&D. Like, even if they were still doing it weekly, you're playing 4 to 6 hours, right? You're giving each one 4 to 6 hours, unless you're Matt, who has to put in the extra time if he was DMing. So it's like, when people make it seem like, oh, they need all this time to do other stuff, they've always been doing other stuff. Matt has been in tons of video games since this started. Laura has been in tons of, Ashley has been in tons of stuff. The only reason she kept having to miss is because she was doing stuff away. She was like out of town, out of state and stuff like that. Yeah. Souls uncaring and yielding, undead to move bodies. Zombies don't get bored, nor they feel exhausted. This is very true. I was going to play but make it easier. Yeah, well, I think it's more so 10 years of sitting around the table with the same group and playing, and to a degree it has stopped being that, and it has started being a show, a production, where they have meetings ahead of time and meetings afterwards to discuss it and plan and do all that. It has become a production, not a D&D game. It's still enjoyable. We all still like watching it, but it is, and that probably aids the burnout. Because they can't phone it in. They can't say, I'm having a rough week. I want to play. I'm going to show up, but like I'm going to kind of phone it in. I'm going to be there to help with stuff. I'll roll when I need to, but whatever. They can't. They cannot do that. They have to be on all the time. And that's tough. That can be very difficult. So, yeah. What's up, Leaf Sneakers? Welcome back. I want to keep animating shows, etc. A lot of people are already saying, like, for instance, this game, they're like, oh yeah, this is being like done in a way that like makes a great story that can be a show. Like, they are now crafting their D&D games as a like, hey, could we get this animated? Could this be a show? Which changes how you do it. It feels like Seekers and Schemers are basically going to have a 5th overture episodes as they're all together, since it's pre-recorded. Things should resolve it before splitting. Yeah, I think it's going to happen in episode 5. I don't know that it's going to be like we get the whole episode 5 is an overture to the same degree. I do, however, think like maybe halfway through that they will split and do their own thing. So many things still doing voiceover, director work, 2 animated series of full production, probably movie in the works and all this stuff from Darrington. Yeah. There's a lot that they do, and they've added a lot to their plates. And I support all of that, but I think it has pushed them further away from delivering like what people grew to love. People still love it. People are still around, but it is noticeably different. And I think there's a lot with that. This as a show would be amazing and dark. Yeah, I mean, I think that it is partially being thought of from that. Feeling conflicted on the player death. We were told it would be deadly, and that happened. Leaf, my take on that is it is the overture, and he was never going to be dead. I like when he died, there was not a single bit of me that was like, oh my god, he killed Occtis. No. Especially, and the main reason is because this was at no fault of Occtis. This was at no fault of one of the players. This was basically a railroad moment where he's like, yeah, this level 13 guy's gonna show up and you're gonna die, right? Like a chance, like you're gonna die. You're gonna die or get kidnapped. Like that's basically it. So yeah, I'm not putting a lot of weight in it. I just think moving forward, it has to change. I think once we're past the overture, they have to allow people, real risk has to happen because it's being sold as a deadly game. And if people die, people die. If this happens, that happens. Right? Like things just have to be let go. It was always, exactly, Britt. That's what I'm saying. It was always the plan. Now, Alex said he didn't know when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen, whatever. But we know that it happened. And that they knew it was going to happen, but not at that moment. But like, you can't tell me Brennan didn't have that happen and think like, oh yeah, Occtis is going to go out of here and he's not going to, like, come on. Right? Like and I'm fine with that because it's the overture. When we get past the overture, I'd like to see some of that stuff change a little bit. Especially with the characters so involved in necromancy, it fits. Yeah, what's up, Falling 22? Welcome in. Good to see you. We need to turn this human into a hallowed one. Let's kill him. Exactly. I'm looking forward to some normal adventuring. This has been very high stakes so far. I forget that they are only level 3 with how intense it has been. Yes. I think it's done a good job of showing the scale, right? I think they've done a good job of showing like, yeah, this is a skill, but it's also been so much and so intense and whatever so quickly. And again, I know why they're doing it, but it's like, we need to chill for a second. Like, we need to slow down, follow a storyline more at their level, go on a quest, go on a little adventure, fight some people that are formidable for them at the current state that they are. Let's do that for a little bit. I think we're about to get that with the soldier table, and I am looking forward to it. He said at the top of episode 3 that it was coming for Occtis. It was definitely in the cards. Might have been said in jest, but there was some for it. Yeah, 100%. No slow change in the way they're being handled. In my opinion, so far it's been pretty smooth. There's just a lot more. There's a lot going on. During it might have had to have come back, but Occtis was planned that way. I agree. I think that if somebody else would have somehow died from it, that would have happened. I don't know if he would have still had it happen, but I think that if it did, he would have let it go the way that it did. With Az's character was always planned narrative, but rest of the group near doesn't die. Yeah, exactly, Donald. That's what basically I just responded to Lil Bum Bun. I mean, it was going to be a hard fight regardless. But I think the Occtis thing was like, that was going to happen, right? It's one of those story beats, and he was like, I got to hit this so he can become his thing, and we can move on. Niconics, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate that. Thank you. Guys, I am live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So feel free to follow me wherever. Also, down there, you see my my Patreon. If you want to show some support, subscribe over there, or become a member on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch, all those sorts of things. Helps me continue to make content like this. This is my full-time gig right now. I am trying to pursue this. So anything, whatever. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. I'm wondering what the soldier group may encounter in their journey to Gormalay. We haven't got any kind of exposition in the Halivars about the last sighting of Wiccan tyranny. That's true. We don't know kind of what they're doing, if they know that he's run off, when they found out about him freeing Tayor, things like that. We don't know those things. I think they're going to run into some nasty things because Cadogan sold it as like, yo, this place is dangerous. Like the wild is dangerous. Like we're like traveling up that way is gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be, you know. So I'm expecting some fights on the way there. Yeah, Abria mentioned that Alex had death in his character story. Under being so close to death was not something they planned. Yeah. Yeah. Abria getting there was definitely something that was like, oh crap. They straight up feels like it may have been meant for Daggerheart at first at a few moments. Oh, really? Why do you say that? Daniel says, I saw him coming back ahead of time and it was a bit obvious. He's from a Necro family and they revealed Marisha 20 off screen giving her a free can't fail. Yeah, again, Daniel, I also, not at one point did I go, oh my God, Occtis is dead. I was like, no, it's not. Mostly because, and I know some of you have heard me say this 5 times at this point in the stream, mostly because it was like almost like a railroaded moment to be there with much higher level opponents. So you're like, I don't think Brennan would be like, hey, I put this level 13 guy in here. He kills you. That sucks. Like, yeah. Loved Matt's performance. Get stuff, and I sided with him when he was calling out everyone can trust his immigration. Oh yeah, no, 100%. We talked about that as well a little bit ago. Leaf. Matt delivered a great performance. His no, like when his father died and like lunging forward and all that sort of stuff was awesome. He was really good in the fight. Him getting hasted basically like turned the tide. It was massive, and yeah, massive respect when everybody else is like, oh, Occtis is back. This is amazing. This is awesome, and he's going, hey, the guy from the Necro Death family came back. Maybe we should question it since he just slaughtered our entire home. Like, how about that? How about we don't just go, hey, welcome back, and we go, how did you come back? Why is your family doing what they're doing? What do you know? Let's ask some freaking questions. I'm with it. Cat said travel in the wild that way is dangerous. Exactly, Justin, exactly. So how does the definition normally work? Like the subclass thing? Yeah, basically she, ahead of time, she rolls like each day, I think, or something, you roll like dice. And you get to replace a different roll with that number. I think you can either do it to somebody else. Like if somebody hits you, right? You can go, actually, I'm going to make you take my 2 that I rolled today. And now you miss. Or I can use it on myself. So I'm going to save the nat 20 for me to use, or a friend or something on their roll. But I'm going to use the bad rolls and give them to the enemies. That's how the divination, portent dice work. I did want to know what the birds and the fox being inside of me. Yeah, pin popping out of him was kind of crazy, huh? Then that one, or death save. Yeah, that was like, oh, ooh, spicy. That was so great. That episode, looking forward to him. Yep. And we got to get a little bit more of him and out of him instead of just like, I'm leaning against the wall. Everybody doesn't like me, you know. Started on a bit. Yeah, it was interesting though when he was like, I'm gonna do this thing, and she like stood in front of him, or like the blade, and he was like, and she was like, I'm gonna say this, and then like maybe thinking he was gonna lower it, he was like, I'm not lowering my blade, and she's like, I walk into it, and Matt's like, okay, you know, like, again, this is very big to my character. I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'll lower my sword and we'll be family. He was like, no, mother, I'm holding my blade out. If you run into it, you run into it. Justin Toner, thank you for the subscription to the YouTube channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it says still, we are very close, by the way, guys, to hitting 7,000 subs on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. So if you are not already subbed, please consider doing so. I'm going to double check, but I think we are legit. We are at 6,964. So we are 36 subs away from hitting 7,000 on YouTube. So if you have not already clicked that subscription button on YouTube, you want to see more of this face in your feed, go ahead and do it. Also, like it, give it a thumbs up down below the video, somewhere over here probably. Give it a thumbs up. All right, trying to catch up. The port dice can be used at any time to replace roll that they or anyone else does. Boom. Yeah, it's each day or before their session. She rolls, I think, 2 dice to use whatever she wants. Yep. Fell asleep doing part of episode. I'm curious if Occtis has a heart now, or is it missing? His heart is missing. He has no heart. For rest of Occtis family, hollow ones. I don't think so, J. Fran. I don't think so. But maybe that is. It could happen. It perfectly showed the complicated nature of your character. Oh yeah, exactly, Mother Nerd. I'm with you. I just hope the whole season doesn't feel too produced. C3, I felt at points the whole thing was predetermined on rails, like they completely planned ahead for SHG to die in a blaze of glory. I don't want to say that they planned ahead the whole time. I think that at a point, Matt, and because of the, cancer and stuff like that for Sam, that was kind of like, hey, I'm going to have to step away. I'm going to have to take time off. And then they might have talked about something. And then Sam was just like, wait, this seems like a good moment. I can have this heroic moment. I can go deal with my life and I can do that. So that one, I'm like, what are you going to do about that? Like, it's okay if he's like, hey, I need to get my character out here. Here's a way for me to do it. I think at a point, Matt had said he had a different plan for it. He had already thought of it. And then Sam went and did this thing. And you're just like, wait, what? Yeah. When you reach 40K subs, you do a Warhammer themed video? Sure. We got a long way to go, brother. We got a long way to go. Wait, did we work out why they left the stone in Occtis? I don't know. Busy day yesterday was my birthday. Heck yeah, Dane. Happy birthday. Real life, I get it, but no longer feels like we're there playing along. We're just watching a show. Daniel, I agree with you. I've talked about this a lot. It is, and it's a good show, but it has turned into a production. It is more an improv story that they're telling together with beats. It feels more like that with the added, like, sometimes we play D&D in it versus like campaign 1 where we're playing D&D and we're really good at role play. It shifted a bit. But on the flip side, again, I said this yesterday, I wish it was still lead a little bit more into D&D. But would it be as successful as it is had they not made the shift into more of a improv storytelling with a side of D&D? Would they be as successful? I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. So it's kind of hard to know, like, should they have not? Maybe control him or soul, leave the stone in. Yeah, but the stone is so important. I suspect Papa Taconis is a lich or some such. Would be crazy if Julian and Occtis are on the same table. I don't see it, but I could have Matt win a best game. I think they are going to be on the same table. My prediction is that they will be on the same table. Matt said he and Sam discussed to be written out for a bit. Sam saw the moment that he could do it. Exactly. That's how I understood it as well. Using the stone to control Occtis to death, not sure though. Yeah, well, they were trying to pull him in, and then they did he split person out when they tried to pull him, and the spirit split and all that sort of stuff. It got a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Either way, it's sexist might have been. Yeah, I actually watched that one. I was like watching it as it happened. I was like, what the heck is going on? Donald says, question. Now we know that Bolaire can take over different bodies. You think be swapping out racial traits? Ooh, that is so. There's a lot of questions around that now. For instance, how does his HP work? How does his HP work? He takes a totally different form. The body gets his HP. The body gets his saving throws. The body gets his right. Like, all those sorts of things. And let's say he's not unconscious. Does the mask fall off? Right? There's just like, how does it work? Does the mask attune to magic items? I'm assuming for simplicity's sake, yes. It's going to work like a normal character. The mask will attune and yada, yada, yada. But there's a lot of questions there. When it comes to it, like, can he actually die in combat? Do they just find him a new body? Right? The mask falls off, they stick it on somebody else. Cool. That is a very good question, Donald. I really hope crit roll. Been hooked for a while of the show and improv, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think the overture felt, again, I hate using the word scripted. What did we say yesterday? Not scripted, but coordinated. The overture felt very coordinated. I think there will be less of it, and I hope there will be less of it moving forward. Occtis and Julian cannot remain in the city, so they have to leave, and also same for Marissa's character thing. I think Marissa's character can stay. A dangerous character death. You know this is still fantasy, and death is just direct other form as we just saw. To a degree, but they've also, so they've hyped up some character death like being a real possibility, but they've also said coming back is very difficult. I think the only reason this happened was because he wanted to be a Hallowed One and they're like, okay, we'll use this nice all thing and we'll make it happen for the story. But like, I think moving forward, I don't think coming back is going to be very, very easy. Yeah, and now that you go back and you watch Aha, because I did it earlier for the Bolaire video I put out, as Brennan is describing, right? He's doing this. He's like, he sees like a sigil or a rune, something inside. If you notice, his hand is moving slightly closer to his face as he's saying it, and then he breaks and he says like, and you know, you're asleep, so we'll just move on. But he was moving a slightly closer, and I think it got to a point, and the mask went, oh, and just latched on. It calls to you, perhaps. It calls to you. Yo, what up, Digi? Matt had made accommodation in the past for Ashley when she was working. I'm going to come back and forth to LA. First campaigns for Pike and Yasha to leave for a bit. Yeah. It's coming to a real pain in the backside for Bolaire. Yeah, I agree. I also am very curious because I hinted at things about being able to... Remember in Bolaire's opening scene, he overhears that lady talking about like helping that person with her father that died and stuff. So I wonder if they're hinting at like there being a possibility to like get into this undead area or something. So unusual, very unusual character for he made a demon, a mask, a fairy, and a hallowed one. Yes. I think the stone also played a huge part in Occtis's death. Brennan mentioned that Occtis grabbing the stone was the correct choice. Yeah, he said that was the better option of the two options, was him grabbing the still object. Yeah, Dane, that's my pick. Did the 1 month trial for Beacon and I'm all caught up now. Let's go, Ditchy. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, if you want to try Beacon and get caught up and be able to like watch the cooldowns and stuff, Overture, right? That's the code. You can go do a month free by using the code Overture. All I'm saying is a bit of a pin stuff. Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. And that's another thing that people have talked about is a lot of things are crafted now in the sense of, can we make an animated show out of it? Can we sell merch for it? Can we create something that people will want to buy? And so, yeah, people are going to want to buy like a pin stuffy, a plushie, whatever. Like they're going to want to buy a pin, right? Like those sorts of things. When Occtis first went down, like he died, and he described how Pin literally fell to pieces, right? Because he's like a bunch of stitched parts of foxes, like different foxes stitched together, and he was like, he falls apart, like literally all the pieces just fall, and you just imagine a bunch of dead fox pieces. I was like, oh god. Put in a code, not sure if it's different in MKD. This had, oh nice, heck yeah, did you? I assume that as in D&D character HP are tied to your class, not your race, so mask is where his hit points are at. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's going to stay the same, but it makes it interesting because people are attacking the body. They're not attacking the mask, right, when he gets attacked. And yet that ultimately is his same HP pool. And so, yeah, it's an intriguing thing. To where, like, the mask itself won't die unless somebody thinks, like, oh, I should destroy that mask. They'll kill the person, think the mask is gone, and then the mask finds a new host. I need a pincushion plushie. Speaking of pin, was it him leading Bolaire's group to the others after meeting the account? Yeah, that was an interesting... That felt like, how do I get you guys where I need you to go? Oh, Pin runs past. It's like, didn't he fall apart? But then he, like... I don't know. Plushies are going to sell so fast. I know I would buy it. Exactly. And they know that. Oh, yeah, straight up. What was your favorite part of this whole overture? Ooh. I'll tell you right now, nothing with Hal in it. Nothing with Hal in it. Hal has done nothing for me. Absolutely nothing in 4 episodes. Bruno, thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna have to think. First, I'm gonna answer this question. How's Wild Shape work in 2024 edition? Is the HP pool shared? It's temporary hit points. They gain temporary hit points equal to like their level times 3. So her hit points would just go up by 9 temporary hit points. But she can stay in that form all the way down to 0, and that's where it would go. Yeah. So I will say Bolaire's reveal was super cool, along with like him chopping the thing up. That was super cool and creepy. The reveal of a lot of the scenes with Wick, the shop, the tailor shop was a really good scene. I really liked that one. Which is funny. I said that, then I looked, and then Nick said basically the same thing. I really liked that. Yeah. Pin discombobulated is just like thing. Yeah. Pin reconstituting makes sense to me. Opinion faking death seems reasonable for a fox. Yeah, but it's his familiar, so it's not like, unless now it's its own thing. Like, how was, yeah, I don't know. Like, it died because he died. Like, he lost the spell, you know? Like, he's what made it be there. Well, they mentioned that what Azune said wasn't mending, but remember... Wait, what? Bolaire cosplay is going to be insane, especially with a mask and wig. Anyone can be like, oh, yeah. Cosplay is going to be everywhere. I like where they're going with Bolaire, as well as 100%, Digi, 100%. This episode made me super intrigued by Bolaire. I think Bolaire is the most interesting, the most unique character we've seen in Critical Role. Hal has yet to do anything interesting other than being the one player a lot of these people can tie into. Agreed. Hal just has done nothing. Like, he's just, the first 2 episodes, he was just sad the whole time. Right? Which, I get it. You know, like, hey, your brother just got executed. I get it. But I was hoping it would change. All we've gotten from Hal is sadness for his brother, and then, like, little emotional moments with his child. Where he's just smiling at her and touching her face, and, you know, and I'm like, do something, Hal. I'm not watching a freaking at-home soap opera. Do something. Like, come on, man. Tyranny and Wick getting, yeah, okay, so read that. Those tailors are going to be a problem. I hope so. I hope we get more of them. Let's be planned. Hopefully that improves once they're split off into smaller tables. It's hard to give a decision. I agree. And I've said that the whole time, Hawk. Other people have said, I said, give Hal some kids. They're like, oh, he's just a sad boy again. I'm like, well, his brother got executed. That's part of the story. Let's see how he progresses as we go forward. And so far, 3 episodes later, I'm still like, come on, Hal. It's like where you're poking him with a stick. Do something. Come on, do something. How being a great dad has been established, and we don't need to keep going back to that. Agreed. And I felt maybe, like, I'm just not into that, because I also, like, when Taisha had her moment with her daughter, like, looking over the forest, I was also like, okay, it's cute, fine, but, like, I hope we don't keep doing this. So that I just figured maybe that's just not for me. Maybe, you know, whatever. But how it's happened like 3 times, and I'm like, okay, dude, like, send the kids to camp. Send the kids. I'm tired of this. Send the kids to camp. I think my favorite part might be the look at the Falconers Rebellion where Terror, Cadigan, and them were really, felt like such a small little thing. What made you enjoy it so much? I love the fight at House Divino. It's probably my favorite part because I was on the edge of my seat. Fair enough. Again, I liked the visualization, like cinematically viewing Julian in that moment was really cool. The first episode, I didn't like Tyranny segments of Oliver. I've said this so many times. People in here have all heard me say, episode 1, Tyranny was not it for me. I think she was my least liked character, episode 1. I was like, nope, not it. Episode 2, she grew on me. She moved up the ranks. Episode 3, I was like, I like you. I like you. But episode 1, Tyranny was not for me at all. Do you think the mask on the coffin was one of Bolaire's? Yes, I do. I think that was another mask like him. It was, so we know the masks were created by the halflings to defeat the trickster god. Like, that's the one that they killed. And it was, the mask was in a coffin from the halfling angel of death. So, yep, I think so. I love the Meet the Dying Fairy Thimble intro, was great. Probably tied with Wick's granddad reveal. I liked the flashback to her being a gift at the wedding. I thought that was a fun exchange where she was a gift when Thiazi got married. That's whole conversation about the language of magic, and that while Azune doesn't really know what he's saying, Hal did, and the words he heard or remembered, don't know if it means any. Oh, okay. That might have scooted right past me. Hawk says, as much as I love some of Leo O'Brien's characters more than others, I admit the sad is kind of all of their primary personality traits. Yeah. And some of them it's less prevalent, I think, or at least in stuff that I've seen. I have not seen every episode of every show. A Sleep Star, thank you so much for sending a rose and a heart. Thank you. But yeah, I hope we get more from Liam, because right now Hal is my least favorite. Hal is the least interesting. He's just straight up like he's not doing it for me. I think Hal's supposed to be an impressive poet, but all we have right now is Sad Boy. Yeah. Also, I do wonder if Azune is actually human. Yeah, he's got some weird stuff going on. Kill them kids. Yeah, no, we don't gotta kill them. Send them off to camp. It's definitely just not for you because I love it. See, exactly. And I get that because I think Mother Nerd, if she's still here, she also really loved the scene between Taisha and the daughter, right? Mother Nerd is also a parent. So part of me was just like, am I just not getting it because, like, I don't have kids? But I'm just like, I don't know. It's just not as interesting to me. I am totally open to it, though, Drac. I'm glad you enjoy it because I think other people do, and that's fine. Right? When I'm watching it, I'm not like, I'm going to turn it off. I'm just like, this isn't doing it for me, and I move on. But I'm glad you enjoy it. But it's not my thing. Hold on. I am way behind. I have to catch up. I apologize. I wonder if Azune is actually tied to one of the houses since he's a Sorgan that didn't lean that way. That would be a surprise. It'd probably be a surprise to him, too, because I don't think he thinks he is. Yeah, Tierney grew on me fast. Wasn't sure about the first episode. I did not like her at all in the first episode. At all. My sister-in-law needs to take the kids to the house in the Golden Orchard to free Hal to do something. Exactly. Like, hey, can you go drop the kids off? I think it might have to be the scale of the intro. Hey, Niconics with a super chat. I think that's like my first super chat ever. Nice. Thank you for your donation, is what it says. Did you send a message with it? Or is it just, you just sent $1? Well, thanks, dude. I think it might have been the scale of the intro and the moment where I felt the pure whiplash how heavy the scene was. No moment in previous campaigns made me feel that way. That's fair. Do you have a world map yet? No, Donald, I do not believe we do, but I'd love to get one. Wedding gift scene was very neat. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I liked that flashback. I'm trying to catch up really fast, guys, so bear with me for just a minute. I mean, the temperature was over the course of 2 to 3-ish days. Grief takes more than that for someone to take a drastic action. Makes sense. No. I will say this, Diario. I've defended this many times. I understand that if he was really in this situation, that makes sense. It's grief, man. Like, trust me, I understand grief. But this is a show and a production. And how long do you want this person to have the same sort of flat, I'm sad, episode after episode after episode, when you're already limited in how often you see them? I get it from the point of view. I totally understand that he's like, I just lost my brother. Everything seems to be falling apart. My friends have to flee the city now. Like, is my family safe? I get it. I'm just not enjoying seeing it as much because I don't think, like, we just haven't seen anything go anywhere with Hal, right? We've seen 4 episodes and almost everybody has progressed in some way. Hal doesn't seem to have progressed at all. We got to see his theater. Cool. Right? Like, but that's me. And it's totally fine that some people love some of these scenes and some people don't. I understand it. I'm just ready for it to be over. Right? That's my main take is I understand why he is the way he is. I just hope he finally stops being that way. Flashback to the wedding, Thimble. Yep. I'm just loving Julian. Also, hello, Mystic. Welcome back on YouTube. I just love loving Julian, watching and seeing why he's sort of the way he is. Also seeing why Theozzy wasn't a perfect guy to Bolaire's perspective. So we talked about this earlier. We don't know if Bolaire was being honest, right? You have to remember, he rolled a nat 20 on whatever it was, persuasion or deception. And Liam Howe rolled a nat 1. And Brendan said the words, "He will believe whatever you tell him." And then you told him. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. Sad is fine, but you need a jester or someone who can balance it out and give levity. Yeah. I mean, Sad Boy is what he does well. Don't fix what ain't broken. That's true. We're barely on the funeral. Of course, he's sad. I kind of just touched on that in the Buff DM. Like, I understand it. I'm just kind of like, I just want more. I just want more out of him. But I'll do some things. See you on the Discord the next week. Have a good show. Hey, peace out, Dane. Thanks for hanging out. I think I'm catching up, guys. Favorite part of me is Cadigan having illusions of grandeur, saving Fang. Felt like he did a great job establishing his character. Sick clue spell. That clue spell was awesome, the protagonist. That was super cool. Cadigan also, I think, is going to be absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to get more of him. When we get to the Soldiers Table, the thing I'm looking forward to most at the Soldiers Table is getting more of Cadigan, because we've gotten some, but we haven't gotten a ton of them. And I think he's going to be exceptionally cool. I like Tayor. I like Thimble. I love Wiccan Tyranny. I want to see more Cadigan too. Here, and yeah, it hit all my mom's senses. Exactly. I totally get it. For some people, it's going to do the thing, and others isn't. I deserve to judge character from a short overture. You make a good point. Yep. I like Hal, but I understand what you mean. Again, I don't dislike Hal. He's just, out of everybody so far, he's just been the least intriguing. He's just the least intriguing as of right now. He's still sad in his brother's body. Still, that's true. Every time they walk in, it's like Brendan goes, the Aussie's body's still there. You're like, all right, guy, how long are we leaving this thing out? Every time they walk in the house, he's like, the Aussie's body still, your friend's body, your brother's body still sits there. And I'm like, somebody bury him. Burn, whatever you're going to do, do it. I find Hal more interesting than Azune so far. I find he's bringing interesting engagement out of other characters, but not. I agree. I want more out of Azune. I don't agree that he's more, like, less interesting than Hal. But I do agree. I'd like to see. Azune has felt like a background character throughout this whole thing. But I find him interesting. But he feels like a background character. I think we'll get more out of him once they split tables. I wish I could like Cadigan, honestly. Farbus is in now, and he's felt underwhelming as a whole. I have hopes Robbie can pull something. Well, to be fair, he wasn't in episode 3. He's done very little, but he's said very little, done very little, but what he has said and done, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I will say that. Did they ever say what people are the seekers and schemers? Unfortunately, no. We were supposed to get it last night. They even said in last week's cooldown that this week they would split the tables, and I think it just took too long. I think they were like, yo, we're hitting 5 hours and we ain't done it yet. And so they called it. So we don't know. I have my predictions, though. I have a video on it on my YouTube. Hal's big moment was seeing his theater, and I didn't feel anything from it. Me either. Have you tried reaching out for an interview yet? Tuesdays and Wednesdays are best, apparently. Wait, why? Why are they best? I have not yet. All right, I see the end of the tunnel here. Sorry if I'm getting your stuff super late, guys. I did have a new theory on the paint. The way that they are going to use it is murals of historic figures made me wonder if it wasn't paint of inspiration to rally the people. Yeah, I could see that. Instead of it being like some sort of hidden explosive, like I originally thought, it could be something that's kind of pushing people for rebellion. Have they said which table they are starting with after the overture? The soldiers. Soldiers are the next table we see. The difficult thing on role-playing character emotions, thought process realistically is that a day or two of in-game time can amount to months in real life. It's hard to balance. Agreed. It's very hard for... Also, Nick, when you sent that super chat, did you have a message with it? I didn't see a message with it. I know they normally come with messages, but thank you. Again, that's the only super chat I've gotten, so really appreciate that. Thank you. For her for me to pinpoint at least a favorite player, as always really love Liam's characters. He's my favorite. So Hal is just as good as his others. Again, I hope and believe Hal will come around. He's just not there for me yet. Very interesting. I agree, Justin. I want to see Cadigan some more. I can't wait to dive into why he's kind of obsessed with Thimble. Who? I liked the Oops No All Alex group costume. Anyone else? That was funny. That was funny, where everybody kind of had the Alex look, and then Alex was wearing like a freaking polo. Brennan gonna kill Hal's kids next. You ain't seen Super Saiyan Sad Boy yet. Oh, please, no. Daniel, please. God, no. No. He's made the least amount of progress, and despite the death of his estranged brother, there isn't the same kind of threat established over him like there has been for Tara, Wake Julian. Yeah, again, I think we'll come into it. We're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. For somebody that you think should be like kind of at the forefront of this, given like it's his brother, he's been in the background. They should have made Taliesin dress normally as well. Yeah. Or just when they have times available and have the least amount of stuff. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to email that thing. And I'm also going to ask the PR guy for Dungeons & Dragons if he has a connection. I'm just going to say like, hey, who's the person the PR person for Critical Role? I would love to interview them. I'd love to get an interview with somebody from Critical Role. I think the paint has angel blood in it. It could be that it's hidden and that's actually what it is. Maybe it's evidence. Maybe that's what it is. Blair was looking for Thimble desperately almost. Oh, yeah. Oh, so the reason he was looking for it in this episode is because I think the item, the package, remember he delivered and he showed it to the guy and the guy was like, is this a joke? There's nothing in here. I wonder if that is because Thimble was supposed to have something in that box and it wasn't there. The other option is that it was all a ploy for him to get a new body, which is also possible. The costume theme was hilarious. That was a nice touch. You have a feeling Hal's kids are possibly on the chopping block knowing Brennan? I don't see that happening, at least not anytime soon. Oh, Cadigan. He really zeroed in on Thimble, like using her sin to get back to the house in episode 2, I believe. Yeah, oh, I feel like they kind of talked about the reason for that, though. Like, he wanted to... I'd have to go back and watch it, but I thought there was, like, a specific reason for that, to try to find them a connection or something. Every third of the year, they're going, resurrected. Who's going to get resurrected? Yeah, if you give Brennan a mulligan free reign with your character having a family and a campaign, be prepared to say goodbye. That is fair. Also, what happens to the soul of the person that wears the masks? That's a good question. So I'm curious, are they still alive when the mask comes off, or are they dead? Because the body is decomposing behind it, right? We found out, like, the skin was all dry and cracked, and the eyes are basically deflated. Like, does it just kill them, and then he uses their body? Or are they still alive behind it, and they're just kind of taken over? Even see your kids on screen and killing me, not gonna lie. Makes this, sir. My comment, sent by accident. I think they're going to resurrect the gods or become gods themselves. I hope not. Like, personally, I hope not. I think that there are so many big stories and things related to dead gods and fallen gods and bringing the gods back that I'm just like, let's leave the gods. I'll like leave them. Leave it the way it is. I don't know. Unless they find out some crazy thing about how the gods were actually good and not actually bad and everything was a lie and blah, 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 blah. In which case, maybe. But like, as it is right now, I'm not saying your theory ain't gonna happen. I'm hoping it doesn't. Like, it's kind of where I'm at. For everybody to call off. I do think it's possible that happens because he is out there at the Barrow Downs or whatever they're called. I think they suffocate under the mask. That could be it. They play 1/3 of the continent. Deaths and Calamity was enough horror for me. Yeah. Yeah. Goes to sleep when the mask is off, then wakes up when it is back on a new body. Yeah. And do all the masks function the same way? I would assume. I mean, we don't know, like, at all, right? We have nothing to base that on, but I would assume. Love the idea that the weapon to kill the halfling Cherokee god was a play. What kind of play? How many actors, masks were there? How long was it? What was the plot of the play? So many questions. Yeah. Void on TikTok. Hello, just came off the rebroadcast. I never was able to catch it before. Nice. What did you think? What are your thoughts, Void? As you can see, these chats, we got a lot of people talking over on like YouTube and stuff. So if you want to see what other people are saying, on TikTok, the chat is right about here. Hopefully you can see it. I know it's white with my white shirt behind it. Nerdcore shirt. Check the merch down below. Didn't Taliesin say something about Bolaire's new host being a bit rowdy? His permanent charm spell. Wait, what do you mean? Something about being a... What did you interpret as that? I don't think he said that. But I might have missed it. I'm not saying he didn't. I just didn't hear it. So I'm curious what part, like what he said that made you think that. All right, what part? Find a way to bring afterlife into being again to free things from the realm of death so it doesn't doubt it. Yeah, that's my thinking is that's going to at least be a big plot point, is that like they have to figure out what to do about the fact that all the dead are on the other side and it's crushing everything. It's filling everything with dead because they have no place to go because the gods are dead. We still need to address the orc warrior fighting in the underworld and the undead fairies. Yes. I like what you said in there in the Discord. Exclamation point Discord, by the way, if you guys want to join in. We have lots of conversations about a Critical Role in there. Is it Theozy? Could it be Theozy that's the orc warrior fighting in the underworld? I was wondering if the souls of the many wearers of the mask are contributing to the free will of the mask has seemed to gain over time. Yeah. Like, because Bolaire said that he had a point was like, wait, my purpose is done. Like, we killed the god and I still exist. I want to live my own life. You're wondering if like just having taken multiple bodies has led to that sort of break to be like, I want to live my own life. Resurrecting her god in some ways seems to be the gender for, oh yeah, Valus wants to. Valus definitely wants to bring the god back because she was so interested in the resurrection thing. Or at least we think it's her god. Maybe it's a loved one, right? Something like that, don't know. But she was very interested in the fact that Occtis was able to bring somebody back from the dead. I wonder how many masks there were. Bolaire's comedy mask. Was he a tragedy mask? Yeah, did they describe what the mask was that crumbled that Taisha found? Did we get a description for that? Hal is a tragedy bard. Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't think we have found out, but like it makes sense. Like he's a bard and it literally starts with him going through a tragedy and he's doing like plays and stuff. So his kid's dead. He's going to get fuller range and schemes his way to bring down the houses. Then at the end, he's a bad guy, but finds a way to bring his family back. Daniel he wrote the whole plot. I love the concept of Bolaire, but find him shady. I think he is shady, but I also love him. Again, because we don't know if he was telling the truth. We don't know if he was being honest about like Hal doing whatever and all that sort of stuff. So, I also find it, sometimes it's difficult because of the scaling. You're like, okay, Hal's a regular guy. Tayor's a lion guy, but he's a regular, right? Like Thimble's just, you know, she's a fairy. She's got her own thing. And then Valus is an 800-year-old elven warrior of the god temple, whatever. And you could think, okay, maybe when the god died, she lost some of her power. Well, why is Bolaire as weak as them? My man is an item that was created for the sole purpose of killing a god, and he succeeded. So why is he level 3? Right? Like those sorts of things where you're like, that doesn't really make sense when you have you're a created entity to destroy a god, but you're in the level 3 group. Right? Those things are always like, how? You know? Not to be confused with how. When asked if they could take off the mask, Bolaire said they could, but the body was a bit rowdy. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen after the Soldier's Table makes Julian join any of the group, as he doesn't seem to get along with any of the pieces, said Valus after 4 episodes. I think he's going to be at the Seeker's Table, and I think he does fine with Valus, and he'll be okay with some of the others, but we'll have to see what happens. I'm pretty exhausted, but that was a generally insane episode. I loved it. I thought that was Theozy as well. Yeah, the Orc Warrior. It is an exhausting episode. Will each of the masks reflect different genres of theater? That would be cool. That'd be a nice touch. I was very curious as to whether Bolaire can technically die. So I think the mask can be destroyed. But that's just what I was talking about before. I've brought it up several times. Like, but when you're fighting him, if somebody's fighting him, they're probably hitting the body, and then the mask falls, and the mask just finds a new host. And Bolaire as a character goes on just with a new body, unless like, you know, there's some sort of connection where if the body is truly destroyed, the mask breaks or something, right? I'd be tired too if I went to bed, woke up, fought, went to bed, rinse, repeat. Bring them back, not her god. Exactly, that could be it. The protagonist says, I'm still trying to figure out how Bolaire could kill a god. What makes a possession mask that dangerous? Exactly. Like, we don't know the detail of how that could happen. Manty Monster on YouTube, welcome in. Says, I couldn't tell if Occtis' death and resurrection was planned or they really got a lot of really bad rolls. It felt like the vibe got thrown off a little when that happened. It was planned to a degree. In the cooldown, they even say that, like, his character is supposed to die at some point and become a hallowed one because that's what he wanted to play. Very similar to how Sam Riegel probably didn't make a cleric, right? He made a divine soul sorcerer, and they said, how do I become one? And they said, oh, here's a cool story. We'll start you as a cleric. You'll believe your family thing, and then we'll break that, and that's how you're a divine soul sorcerer. Same thing. Alex went to Brennan and said, I want to play a Hallowed One Necromancer. Brennan said, we can make that happen. You're not going to start as a Hallowed One, but at some point, that can happen. That's how it happened. He said, you're going to die, stuff can happen, blah, 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 blah. Now, again, Alex may not have known all the details. Maybe there still was a chance of real death, but ultimately that's what the goal was that he would become a Hallowed One. Gonna play Mantis. Alex wanted to, okay, yep. You answered that. It's only part of the weapon. Exactly. He was just one mask of many. Valus doesn't just interest me that much. Feels too murder hobo-y. Maybe I need to rewatch that. No, I agree. Right now, Valus has been very much like, I'll kill whatever and I'm whatever. Except for when she engaged with the players, it's almost like a switch flips because she knows they have to work together. So, yeah. But anybody else, she's just like, I don't care, I'll kill him. I love the shady ones every time, and this arc is so interesting. I still think that we don't know everything he didn't tell. I agree. I think there's still stuff about Bolaire we don't know. Is an Aaron? I don't think he should go out of the city. So I expect them to go into hiding. Maybe, or Araness will go with him or say, I'll meet you there, or something like that. I don't know. Wait, Hal is building a theater, and Bolaire was made for a play future plot point. I think they're going to both stay in the city. And Bolaire also said that he respects Hal and like his theater and stuff like that. So there is some sort of kinship when it comes to it. So there's a play from all the masks. Yeah, so I guess that's why he's level 3. If you combine them all, they can kill a god, but a single mask is just level 3. There was a chance he could stay dead. Alex even thought he messed up. Yeah, I know that, again, I know that they said that. But it's like they can say that even if that chance was 1%, right? Like, technically. I still don't think it was ever going to happen. Maybe there was a chance. I don't know. It's just purely speculation in my brain. Nobody has to agree with me. I don't think there was truly a chance Alex was not going to come back. Void says, all right, I'm off to bed. The live show and rebroadcast are much inconvenient times for me. I feel you, Void. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for popping in and hanging. Follow if you haven't already. I think they need all the masks for Bolaire's God instead of work. That makes sense, yeah. There was a chance of real death. There was even a chance that Occtis continued as a human by escaping there. Alex thought he made the wrong choice. Yeah, so you're talking about the thing, yeah. I don't know really that there was a chance of escape. It felt very... When you show up with a level 11 or 13 character, you're not getting out at level 3 unless somebody else saves you, which is why I thought Aranessa was going to save them. And then it started, and Aranessa got, like, grappled and, like, dragged, and it was silenced, and I was like, oh, never mind. And Occtis died, so... This morning before work, and I think it's my favorite episode yet. Oh, yeah? Nice. I don't know what that is. Wow. Oh, is that the follow on TikTok? Is it hidden? Did I hide it on accident? Yeah, I heard that wow or the alert, but I don't know. Oh, or was that the sound alert on Twitch? Somebody sound alert on Twitch? I don't know. There was a wow, an anime wow, and I don't know where it came from. Thank you for whatever it is. Painted with a special paint that keeps away the undead or shadows will be... Oh, that could be... I like that, Mama Han. I like that. It's like a magic that fends off undead to give them a safe place. Bayless is Curtis with the others and seems kinder, I guess, to Occtis, mainly because of Penn. She's interested... Yeah, she's definitely interested in him. Just woke up, finish it. Yep. Have fun chatting. Yeah, keep hopping to my For You page. I'm definitely following. Thanks, Void. Appreciate that. Bolaire made a comment about how he looks refreshed, which means to me he needs a new body as it decomposes, so he probably has to find new hosts. Yeah, and he said, so when he said that, Nick, he also said that this isn't the first time they've looked and noticed that his skin looked better than before. So he has, as long as Hal has known him, he has seen him clearly have changed body several times. Hal doesn't know that, but he has noticed those differences several times. Leaf Sneakers says, by the way, Lady Aranessa, I hope will continue to be part of the city storyline. Oh yeah, she's very good. That haste on Julian was peak. It was very, very good. On inactive, he would have escaped to the balcony. He mentioned how he had spider climb ready in order to escape. Yeah, it would have been impossible. But again, it's like, if we would choose the low end, let's say, Primus is level 13 or something. And let's say Ethrand is lower now. Let's say 7 or 8. Okay, you spider climb out. They just come out to boop. Hold person. boop, touch of death. But I mean, there's just so many things where they could go that, like, what does he have? 20 hit points or something? 24 hit points? 23. 23 hit points? Like, yeah. At level 3, you are not getting away from a level 13 if he does not want you to get away. Even at level 8, like, a single spell at level 8 can do 23 points of damage. Like, it's not that far-fetched. So, yeah. Again, narratively, maybe they can make it happen and they can say, oh, you climb on the roof and, like, they have no way to get out there and climb up. They have to, like, take that, or like, they get blocked or something. It can happen. I'm saying, like, genuinely. Yeah. About to play D&D myself. Hey, I'm playing tonight as well. I want to get out another YouTube video before I do that, though. I play at 9:30 tonight. We do have one video out right now. That is all about the big Taliesin reveal. So if I can request one thing of any of you is that after this, go watch that video just to help me out. Even if you don't want to listen to it, you can mute it, let it play the whole way through, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. All of that will help me tremendously, get it pushed out to more people and continue to do this stuff. So do you think there was any chance of Primus or his son dying in the Overture? No. I thought it was a TPK if they didn't run, but that combo went a lot better than I thought it would. That's because Primus and Ethrend, his son, left. It is a TPK if they stay. Maybe Lady Aranessa makes it interesting, but other than that, like, no, it's a common trope and it's an okay trope. I've used it, we all use it. The guy who's powerful enough to kill you goes, leave him. The minions will kill them. I'm not dealing with it. And they leave. But if they would have stayed, that ends the campaign. It ends the story. So you let them leave being cocky or having some other place they need to be, and then the group ends up beating the minions. Common trope, but it works. I have to wait until after Halloween to many groups together. Oh, dang, Justin, you gotta wait that long? Tal even made the joke. I play tonight and I play tomorrow night. About taking over Alex's character to get in the Occtis. Yeah. I'm surprised that a halfling weapon doesn't make Bolaire more like a halfling. Well, it just goes on his body. I mean, it's not like it transforms him. This counter was not made for Occtis to get out alive, just that Alex had plans for making it out that didn't work out. Yeah. So again, I don't know that Alex knew this was going to happen right now, but he knew that something eventually would happen, and so, yeah. Playing a Blade Singer wizard in my current campaign, having so much fun. First time playing one. Very nice. I've never played one. I wonder if anything from Occtis' magic has changed now that he's out of one. I am curious about that too. I think we will soon find out. Well, not soon, but next time we see him, we may find out. Was a one-off Chester Baxter reason for no resurrection. I agree, and I hope so. I hope that now that we're through this, if people die, they die. Real risk is real risk, and we get a little less of like things that are entirely too powerful showing up, and like people getting away. Right? Like it can be done and it can be done well and that's okay. If it's done on repeat, then it's like, okay, like, no. Yeah, our group plays every other Friday. We're taking on. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Might have to get Beacon because I work Thursday night now, but I don't want to miss out on these talks. You get the first month free right now, but if you're already caught up, like if you watch, I would wait until what, a week from now, week or so. That way you get the most out of it, right? Because next week is a one shot. They're not going to play again until the week after that, just to maximize how much you get with it. But you can get 1 month free right now. And how much is it normally? Like $6 or something? Something like that. Month of October. I know somebody else said that they got it. Digi did, and they didn't even have to put in a code. Like they just clicked like 1 month free and it like auto did it. It's like $5. Yeah. $5 a month. It's not terrible. You can subscribe to my Patreon for $3 a month. Woo! Even cheaper. Thanks for reminding me how much I like New World. No problem, Andrew. No problem, man. I've been busy. I haven't hopped back on since you saw me playing, I don't think. But just making content, trying to get the stuff going. Trying to make the most of what I got. What's up, Mikey? I'm sorry I missed your message if you're still there or you're new here thing. It's worth it to have the VOD of the episode right away in the shares. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Again, especially for me, I make content around it. I take clips. I do like, I need to be able to have access to it to make sure I'm not misleading people and doing all sorts of stuff like that. So it is ultra important that I have that. I think I have that linked. Also Discord. Pretty sure I have the Discord. All right, we are almost at 2 hours. We might call this. It went well. I was really hoping that we were going to get up there. Again, when I saw Todd Kenrick doing this earlier, I mean, he got like 300 concurrents. I think we peaked at like 70 maybe. Still great conversations. Mariah Gilmore says, Campaign 4 feels different than previous campaigns. I like how it comes with the consequences of the previous group talking out the gods and how it affects everyone, even Occtis at the end. Yeah, it's going to be different, for sure. I still think we're in for how it's really going to play. I don't think the Overture is actually a great example of how the game's truly going to be, personally. I think we still got more stuff to see once the group split up and we get things a little bit different. I think that's going to be a better gauge of how things work. But welcome in. I'll go ahead and say again, guys, if any of you are here and have not already clicked to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please consider doing so. I post Critical Role content, I post Dungeons and Dragons content, some video game content, nerd culture stuff is what I try to cover. Lately, it's been a lot of Critical Role because it's been doing very well for me, but in general, yeah. I love that the world got effed up bad in several ways because the gods were killed. No one considered the consequences. Yeah, I agree. They were like, hey, we don't like how this is going. We can fight back. We can beat him. And now they're stuck with sort of like a, wait, there are bad things because of this. Nelson Ortega, thanks so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. We are up to 6,967. We are 33 subs away from 7,000. Heck yeah. I also think we just got so much heavy stuff so early. I think that's one of the things like that is a little tough is we got so much heavy. We didn't start small. We started with these huge reveals, but not only that, but like we jump in and already there's like this undead layer with this war happening and things are going and whole houses are being removed from the play, from the table. And I mean, just like so much at one time that are all huge events, all happening within like a 3-day span of time. And so many of them are like above the level and the skill of the players currently. So you're just left being like, okay, like we have to build up to that, right? Like we're not there yet. Like where do we go from it? Like there's just a lot. There is a lot. Have any favorite non-Wizards of the Coast D&D resources? I'm big on Cobalt Press, so I'm published with them. Oh, I didn't know you're published with them. I would say the main ones are the Game Masters book series. I have like all of them on this shelf back here. The Game Masters book series. So like the Game Master's Guide to Trash Puzzles and Dungeons, Game Master's Guide, or book of random encounters, or more random encounters, cities and towns, like all those. I think those are good books. Are we spectators or are we victims? Gotta go. Love your content. Hope you keep up with it. Keep it. Hey, appreciate it, Leaf. Thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Call Brendan scare them so much. Nobody made a making my way joke in the opening combat. Yeah. That I mean, there's just so much. Every time I try to think about stuff now, the more I think, the more I'm like overwhelmed with just like, oh, this happened, that happened, this happened, and they said this and that could happen. This thing's happening, but they're not there, but we know this thing is happening. I think that's another thing. We're getting a lot of background stuff that I don't know that we actually need to know right now. Like we're getting reveals for things that like maybe we lead up to, but like we're not there yet. Looking at stuff way higher than there. Yeah, I get that. Though are we spectators or are we victims? I get it now. Yeah, I was wondering where that came in. But all right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna call it. I think we are at 2 hours. So we're going to end things there. Thank you guys for hanging out to the post show. We do a pre-show before every episode. There won't be one next week. Dr. Tostic, thanks for the sub, man. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you haven't already followed, if you're on Twitch or TikTok, please follow. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're on YouTube, please consider subscribing. If you want to support me directly, the best way to help me continue to do this full time, become a patron over on my Patreon. There's also a bunch of stuff you get for that, like resources for D&D. Become a member on YouTube. Become a subscriber on Twitch. Become a subscriber on TikTok. All those things really help. Thank you all. Thanks for chatting. Good conversations. Look out for my content. Go watch my videos. It all helps. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you guys next time. And join the Discord.